And she also showed up at his grandmother's house where he lives, barging her way in and assaulting his grandmother, who ultimately ended up getting a PPO against him or against her. So we suspect it's not really about the children's safety as much as it's another issue relating to their relationship.
I don't have anybody, and yet he has a fetish that involves.
That's the order of the court. The order will again be in effect.
I'm filing against the state of Michigan.
Court will note the appearance of Mr. Kelly on behalf of the plaintiff. This matter is before the court on the plaintiff's motion to enforce parenting time order. Mr. Kelly.
Your Honor, very quickly, very briefly, this court entered an order in June. My client had every other weekend parenting time and midweek parenting time. He was exercising that all the way up until the weekend of August 16th, which he received. Thereafter, defendant is not allowed overnight parenting time over the weekend, so he's missed 4 weekends up to date. He missed his parenting time on the 4th, 11th, and 18th. Midweek parenting time, he has had some midweek parenting time since then. However, there have been a number of occasions where she's either shown up late or simply has no-showed, and when she's shown up late, she's oddly enough picked him up right on time. We're requesting make-up parenting time for the 4 weekends, Your Honor, and for the midweek parenting times he's had. I think an appropriate remedy would be parenting time to start this weekend, which would be his upcoming weekend, and allow him to keep the children for the following week through the following Sunday for his make-up parenting time. This is the second time we've had to address this issue before the court. There's clearly a court order in place. We're required to file this motion to get this enforced, to get parenting time started. We're requesting attorney's fees in the amount of $500. And lastly, Your Honor, we suspect defendant is going to indicate to the court, well, dad's got some sexual deviance. He's got all these other things going on. She actually called CPS on him. They did an investigation. During that investigation, there was no suspension of parenting time. There was no safety plan put in place. And they've closed their investigation since then. We suspect this more has to do with her wanting to continue the marriage or relationship with my client. She has made intimations to that effect. And she also showed up at his grandmother's house where he lives, barging her way in and assaulting his grandmother, who ultimately ended up getting a PPO against him, or against her. So we suspect it's not really about the children's safety as much as it's another issue relating to their relationship, which again has no bearing on this court's order. So again, we're requesting a week of make-up parenting time starting this Friday, and attorney's fees in the amount of $500.
Ms. Couch, what's your response?
My response to that, I had consulted CPS because I had found videos of children in diapers with enemas being done to them. And that is part of a sexual fetish of Zachary Conley's. And they told me not to allow visitation if I felt that it was in the children's best interest. And I feel that that is the case.
Well, in this particular case, CPS cannot violate the court orders. The court will enforce its orders in this matter until such time as it's changed. You can file a petition seeking to change the orders if you have a proper cause to do so. If not, then it won't be changed. But
I do have evidence. I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, don't interrupt, ma'am. What happens if you have proper cause, you can file a motion to modify parenting time until such time as that occurs. The court will enforce its orders. And if the orders are not followed, the person violating the orders can end up in jail. So it's a choice as to what you want to do in this matter. The court will note that states, the motion as well states that the defendant has been late for drop-off. The court will order that if, in fact, the plaintiff is late for drop-off of the children, then the plaintiff is entitled to the time extended at the end of the parenting time. So if she's late for 1 hour dropping him off, then he's entitled to an additional hour of parenting time to make up for that. So that will be the order. The court does note, as Mr. Kelly stated, that CPS has been involved. They've closed the case without taking action. So as a result, the court would infer from that CPS did not find any basis for proceeding, or they would have sustained and substantiated the allegations. So until they do, the court simply will enforce its orders. the court will award to Mr. Kelly the attorney fees of $500 necessitated by this motion to enforce the parenting time will be paid within 45 days of today's date.
In regards to the makeup parenting time, what was the court ordering?
Yes, the court will, or now when your client picks the children up on this Friday,
Yes.
court will allow him to have the children for 1 week to make up for the missed parenting time. Anything else, Mr. Kelly?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Couch?
No.
That will be the order. Mr. Kelly, you can submit under a 7-day notice of entry.
I am trying to get somebody through legal aid. Nobody has been willing to help me. This attorney, Michael Kelly, even worked with a mediator that he had known. And the mediation didn't go any further because they thought that it wasn't.
We're not addressing mediation now, Ms. Couch. We're addressing the orders that were in place.
I don't have anybody. And yet he has a sexual fetish that involves children.
Okay.
He's watching children.
That's the order of the court. The order will, again, be in
Okay, I'm
effect.
filing against the state of Michigan.
That's the order of the court, ma'am. We're going to end the hearing now.
The 37th Circuit Court is now in session with the Honorable Brian K. Kirkham presiding. This is case number 2024-1372 DC. Zachary Conley versus Athena Couch. Michael Kelly is for the plaintiff.
Mr. Kelly, do you wish to make an opening statement or proceed to your proofs?
No opening statement, Your Honor. I would request the court to take judicial notice of its court orders in this case, as well as judicial notice of the personal protection order entered by Judge Tina Yost Johnson. It would be Gloria A. Griffiths versus Athena Couch.
I'll ask you, Ms. Couch, do you wish to make an opening statement, or you can reserve your opening statement, do it later, or waive your opening statement? What would you like to do?
Your Honor, at this time, I am going to ask for a continuance. I'm in the process of getting an attorney.
Well, ma'am, this case has been scheduled for a long time.
I do not have an attorney, so I would like to proceed with one, and not at this time. So,
Mr. Kelly, what's your response?
Your Honor, as the court's already indicated, this case has been pending for a very long time, and she's indicated at multiple hearings she's retaining an attorney and hasn't done so thus far. My client has very limited parenting time. He's having issues with getting his parenting time. He'd like some finality to this, so we'd like to proceed this morning.
Obviously, Ms. Couch, you've been put well on notice of the time for this trial, so the court is going to deny your request. We will proceed. Do you wish to make an opening statement, waive your opening statement, or reserve?
I have no more further comments.
Or we'll take that as a waiver of opening statement. Mr. Kelly, you can proceed with your proofs.
Your Honor, we call Athena Couch. Miss Couch, are you the mother of Amelia Margaret Connolly and Evelyn Ann Connolly?
Yes,
Let's switch gears a little bit. Ma'am, are you currently employed?
I am not.
When was the last time you worked?
April of 2022.
And where were you working?
Actually, that might have been May. Excuse me. And I was working at Firekeepers Casino.
How long had you been working there?
A week. Actually, I think it was 4 days.
You worked there for 4 days?
Yes, I did. I was recently a barista when I was pregnant with the kids at Firekeepers as well.
Where was your last job prior to Firekeepers?
It was Applebee's.
And how long were you at Applebee's?
4 or 5 months.
What was your job at Applebee's?
I was the line cook.
How about prior to Applebee's? Where did you work?
May I ask the relevance?
Ma'am, I'm asking the questions.
Just answer the question, ma'am. In this matter, when you're dealing with custody, parenting time, again, income is relevant as it relates to child support.
While I was working at Applebee's, I also worked at a hotel.
How long did you work at the hotel?
A month while I was working at Applebee's, and then they were in contingency with each other. I don't know, 6 months.
Did you transition from the hotel to Applebee's?
I was working both.
So you worked both the hotel and Applebee's for at least 1 month.
Yes.
What'd you do at the hotel?
I worked the front desk, and then I also cleaned. I was a housekeeper as well on the weekend.
What was your wage there?
About 15.
When you worked for Applebee's, was that in 2022 or 2021, or when was it?
That was 2021.
Where did you work prior to the hotel?
I think I worked for Shipt for a little bit, delivering groceries.
When you say a little bit, was it like 4 days? Was it a week?
Like 3 months.
Remember what your wage was for that?
I was making maybe $20 an hour.
When you worked for Shift, How many hours a week were you working? Was it full time?
No, I only worked, like I did a couple of gigs each day. So I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 hours.
And you indicated you're currently unemployed. Is that correct?
Yes, but I am in the process of getting employment as well.
What does in the process mean, ma'am?
I am working with an agency that will help me get childcare for my kids while I'm also furthering my education and working.
When did you sign up with this agency?
I just filled out the application last week, so
What's the name of the agency?
I'd rather keep that disclosed.
Your Honor, because you haven't answered the question.
Yeah, ma'am, you're going to have to answer the question.
I am working through Women's Co-op.
Are you receiving any type of public assistance at this time, ma'am?
Yes, I'm receiving cash assistance.
Are you receiving anything else?
Food stamps.
Are the girls covered on any type of health insurance?
They are on my health insurance, Medicaid.
When you were together with Conley after you had the children, how many jobs was he working
I'm sorry, you said how many jobs was he working? When?
after you had the children?
3 that I know of,
So
but not full time and not at all of them, but like during the week.
what jobs did he have?
He delivers Mission tortillas. He worked Meyer 1 day out of the week. And then he also worked for Daniel's building company.
Just to be clear, you haven't worked since you gave birth to the children, correct?
I tried to go back to work after I had the kids. They were 4 months old. I said April, but I believe it was more like May that I went back to work at Firekeepers, but I could not continue working that job because Zachary Conley did not work with me. He said that he could not watch the kids and neither could his parents. And I had previously arranged that they were to watch them and they did not. They told me that they had camping trips.
Is it fair to say him working 3 jobs, he was gone a fair amount of time?
Actually, he was home quite a bit, but he never took care of the kids. He never helped me once.
Your Honor, move to strike. That's not what I asked you.
I'll strike the answer.
Your Honor, do you know Holly Conley?
I do.
Are you aware that she works for the Department of Health and Human Services Benefits Department?
Yes, I'm aware.
How is it that you're receiving the public assistance that you are receiving when you had written a letter to DHHS indicating Miss Connolly was interfering with you getting benefits?
It wasn't a matter of interfering with the ability as much as it was her being in my case, because she had gotten the girls' medical cards without my acknowledgement. She does work for the state of Michigan, and when I had questioned about like how much she was able to see in my case, the answer was she was able to see pretty much all of it. So I didn't want her interfering with any of my personal business.
But was she actually interfering?
Not interfering, but as snooping, looking through, feeding information back to Zach, whatever the case may be.
But that never actually happened, did it? That never actually happened, did it?
She had to have at least been in my case to get medical cards for my children without my acknowledgement.
But you're indicating she was feeding information to Zach. Do you have any proof of that?
I do not. Actually, yes, I do. When Zachary was arrested for the domestic violence case, I needed car seats that his mom came and took from the residence as well as his vehicle. His stepmother had a pair of extra car seats, so I asked for those. She gave them to me, then told me that they were a friend of hers and that she needed them back. All of those text messages and things, those were delivered right back to Zach's mom. So I know that they're all talking about it. So with that power that she has and in the office, I am pretty sure that she is up in my case.
So you're speculating that she is.
Sure. All right. I have 2 young children.
Miss Conley actually regularly watched your kids on Sundays when you were still with Mr. Conley, correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Miss Conley regularly watched your children on Sundays when you were still with Mr. Conley. Isn't that true?
That is true. I did not have an option. Zachary would send the kids wherever because he wanted them to be gone out of the house.
You have an automobile, correct?
I do.
And nothing prevented you from taking the girls anywhere at that time, did it?
Actually, my car was out of commission for a year because Zachary refused to fix it. And there have also been 2 tax refund checks that we haven't seen a dime of.
Your Honor, moved to strike. There was no question.
Court will strike the answer as it's not responsive. Ms. Couch, just answer the questions. You'll have a chance to testify as to everything you want to testify to, but not.
Our continuance today because I don't have an attorney here with me.
I understand that, but again, I denied the motion, so You should have done it sooner.
Ms. Couch, even though you allowed the children to go over to Miss Conley's house, you didn't allow them to spend the night there, did you?
Absolutely never.
But you did allow the girls to spend the night at your mom's house, though, correct?
Yeah.
Do you know Lori Putnam?
I do.
Who is Lori Putnam?
Zach's mom.
And Miss Holly Conley, who is Lori Conley? Or Holly Conley?
Zach's stepmother.
Now, Miss Putnam, like Miss Conley, she regularly watched your children on Saturdays when you were still with Mr. Conley. Is that correct?
Not always.
But she would watch your children
Yeah,
on Saturdays?
Again, I had no business in that. Zach would reach out and contact.
And you didn't allow the girls to spend the night at Miss Putnam's house either, did you?
She never asked.
In terms of housing where you're currently at, you're currently being evicted, correct?
Yes, from the home that Zachary purchased for our family, that we had actually gone through the process of buying the home and everything.
Does your mom live nearby?
She does.
Who lives at your mom's house?
My mom and my brother.
How old is your brother?
27.
Hasn't he assaulted your mom in the past?
He has.
Hasn't he assaulted you in the past?
He has.
Did you advise Mr. Conley that you think your brother is quote unquote crazy?
Yes.
You think that's a safe place for your kids to be unsupervised by either yourself or Mr. Conley?
But they are supervised by my mother, so I felt safe. And
With your brother who's 27 present.
with my
correct?
never comes out of his room because he's playing video games.
How old is your mom?
I believe she's 52.
In terms of transportation, you indicated your vehicle was disabled or broken down. Is it running now?
Yes, I have a working vehicle.
Do you have current insurance on it?
I do not.
How about current tags?
No.
Is that the vehicle you transport the children around in?
I do, but very little. We mostly stay at home into the store.
When the children were born, was Mr. Conley present at their birth?
He was.
Were the children delivered by C-section?
Yes,
Did he actually cut the umbilical cords?
I believe so.
And has he been present at some of their doctor's appointments?
Yes.
Now, earlier this year, you contacted CPS accusing him of children, didn't you?
I did not.
However, that's what they were investigating, weren't they?
No.
What was your understanding of what they were investigating him for?
For child, I don't even know what to call that. I didn't call CPS. That was not me. But CPS would have had to been involved, the police told me, because of the matter of what we had seen.
So, when CPS provides a safety plan to Mr. Conley that says there's allegations of sexual abuse, would that not be part of their investigation?
Yes, which the kids were taken to the hospital.
And ultimately, that CPS investigation
Was not thorough.
was denied and closed, correct?
Yes. I'd like to say,
You've been given copies of the court-ordered parenting time, correct?
yes, I have.
Isn't it true that the initial order was required because you were not allowing Mr. Conley to see the kids?
But I did allow Mr. Conley to see the kids. The only reason why I did not was because I was told by DHHS that he might try to withhold the children from me at that time. Sorry.
Ma'am, DHHS was not involved until August. We're talking about the initial order that was entered in June.
Sorry, whoever I contacted for child support, because I haven't, like I said, received.
And you violated that court order by not allowing him to see the kids, correct?
All the way up until I found evidence that he was not of the right mind
So that's a yes.
in August. So I did allow parenting time for months before there was reason to believe that.
Tell me the 5 best things you think about him as a parent.
I'm sorry, I can't come up with any. He provides, and that's about it.
You use marijuana regularly, don't you?
Occasionally,
What's occasionally?
once or twice a day.
In fact, the 2 incidences of domestic violence that you guys had in the past, weren't those related to Mr. Connolly not providing you marijuana?
No, that's not what it was about. It was about him putting his hands on me and him enjoying it.
Yeah, Your Honor, is that last part of the answer, I'd move to strike. It's lack of foundation.
Court will sustain the objection. Just answer the question again, ma'am. You'll have a chance to give any other testimony that you want after Mr. Kelly's done questioning.
The domestic violence incident that he had been charged with, wasn't it true the week before he got arrested that he actually was attacked by you, where you knocked the phone out of his hands because you wanted some marijuana from him?
No.
The kids were home during that time, but asleep, correct?
What?
The kids were home during that incident, correct?
They weren't present.
But they were in the house?
Yes, but not present.
The second incident where he actually got charged and you came into the bathroom to get the keys to his truck when he was in the shower, the kids were actually present during that time, correct?
Yes.
Ma'am, could you answer the question?
I said yes. Excuse me.
Isn't it true at the time he got arrested, you didn't want him arrested?
No, I told the police officer to take him away.
That after he got out of jail that you actually requested him to return home?
I wasn't aware of I wasn't sure how they proceeded with things like that.
So you did ask him to come home?
Yes.
Did Mr. Connolly actually come home?
No.
Was that because of, ma'am?
What was the question?
You had indicated he did not come home, and I asked you, was that because of his bond conditions?
Yes.
During this time when he was out of the house, isn't it true that you'd actually text him that the girls missed him and try to get him to meet up with you and the girls to go to places like the zoo?
That was after I invited him to the zoo, after I had found I didn't want him to have any unsupervised visitation that didn't. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Kelly, are you still there? You might have lost him.
Yeah.
Yep, we lost him.
Don't pull on that, please. We aren't doing that.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Your Honor, I'm not sure, my internet just dropped, so...
Yep.
Reconnect.
Done.
I'm sorry about that.
That happened. Your last question happened to do with where she answered about inviting to the zoo, and then that's the last we heard.
Ma'am, do you know a Gloria Griffiths?
I do.
And who is she?
Zachary's grandmother.
And she currently has a PPO against you for wrongfully entering your premises, looking for Mr. Connolly in August of 2024. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Despite the allegations that you've made regarding Mr. Connolly throughout this matter, is it true you actually wanted him back to actually save your family, your relationship?
Yes, and also to protect my children.
Your Honor, I have no further questions at this time.
Ms. Couch, you can render any other testimony you'd like to give at this time, or you can reserve that until your case, part of your case.
I just want to say I would never assault Zachary's grandmother. In fact, she threatened to push me down the stairs and tried to assault me. But I just wanted a chance to speak to Zach about our family. So, already.
Well, this is, again, you can render any other testimony you'd like at this time. So just not in response to that. So if there's anything else that you would like to render, you have an opportunity to do that.
I have a whole bunch, but I also, like I said, I'm working with an attorney, so I don't think I'm 23 years old. I haven't studied law. I don't think it's great for me to just open my mouth on here.
Well, ma'am, what happens is when you don't get an attorney, that you are representing, you're held to the same standard as an attorney. So you can render any testimony you want at this time, but if you don't, then the court will make a decision based upon the testimony and the evidence that I have. So it's up to you.
May I please ask one more question?
Sure.
Was Zachary's phone searched by the police?
I have no idea, and that would be a question you can ask him when he testifies.
But then who am I asking questions to? Oh,
To Mr. Connolly when he's testifying. Do you wish to render any other testimony at this time?
no.